So you know how Donald Trump and MAGA Republicans pretend to be fiscal conservatives? Well, they are out with their new plan to raise the debt limit. Take a look at this from the Hill. House GOP unveils plan to raise debt limit by $4 trillion. House Republicans are moving forward with plans to raise the nation's debt ceiling by $4 trillion as part of a larger plan to advance President Trump's tax agenda. To finance, in other words, tax cuts for his oligarch buddies who bought and paid for his presidency. Got to raise the debt limit so that these oligarchs can get even richer at our expense. But, you know, I remember, because these people are such friggin' hypocrites, they pretend to be fiscal conservatives. They pretend to care about the debt and spending, but only when a Democrat's president, right? When Donald Trump was president the first time, he was the biggest debt spending president in all of American history. And I remember these same Republicans who went along with all of Donald Trump's reckless spending. When Barack Obama was president, those same Republicans told us that Barack Obama was such a reckless spender that his deficits were going to destroy the country. I remember that very clearly. Well, Barack Obama, during his time in office, we added about $8 trillion to the national debt. In Donald Trump's 4 years, which for you MAGAs who might be watching this, 4 is half of 8. So in just half the time, in just 4 years as compared to Barack Obama's 8 years, Donald Trump added the same amount to the national debt, $8 trillion. So what that means is Donald Trump, on a yearly basis, added twice as much to the national debt as Barack Obama. And you MAGAs, you weren't MAGA at the time, but you're the same people. You MAGAs told us that Barack Obama was going to bankrupt the country because of his reckless spending. Well, Donald Trump was twice as reckless, right? And you people don't give a shit. And he's even worse now. You know that Donald Trump, despite all of the cuts, phony cuts from Doge and Elon Musk and all of that. By the way, I don't hear much of Elon Musk anymore. What is he up to? Used to hear from this jackass every single day he was in the Oval Office holding court. Haven't heard much from him lately. Anyway, even with all the supposed cuts and saving from Doge and Elon Musk, Donald Trump is still spending more than we were spending when Joe Biden was president. Not quite the fiscal conservative he claims to be, right? And by the way, why do we even have to raise the debt ceiling at all? I don't get it. Because I distinctly remember the convicted felon telling us that because of his tariffs, we were going to be making so much money that not only would we balance the budget, and if we're balancing the budget, then we don't need to borrow any money, right? Well, we'd make so much money that not only would we balance the budget year to year, but we'd have so much extra money that we would be able to pay off completely our $36 trillion debt. And not only that, but we will be able to get rid of the income tax because we will make so much money from tariffs. So if we were going to be making so much money from his brilliant tariff scheme, then why do we need to raise the debt ceiling? How does that make sense? Oh, maybe it's because the Orange God King caved. You know, I haven't talked about this, I haven't done a video about this yet, but you're aware that he put these 145% tariff on China. Well, no more. He buckled. He caved. Art of the deal and whatnot, right? And what did we get in exchange for him backing off on the tariffs. They're still high, 30%, but they're a lot lower than the 145%. What did we get in exchange for that from China? Nothing. We got nothing. The art of the deal, right? Well, maybe that's why we have to raise the debt ceiling and continue to add to the national debt, because brilliant genius businessman who plays four-dimensional chess got his ass handed to him and had to back off on the tariffs. Maybe that's why we're not going to make so much money on the tariffs that we can pay off the debt and eliminate the income tax. This whole thing is such a freaking fraud, and these MAGAs fall for it every single time. And the truth is, they don't care, because it's a cult. What are you going to do? Thanks for watching. Talk to you again soon.